In the early 1970s, Mario Puzo and Francis Ford Coppola created two of the most influential films in American motion picture history, recipients of 9 Academy Awards, including 2 for Best Picture. Nearly 20 years later, Puzo, Coppola, and many of their original collaborators assembled to make The Godfather Part 3. Here are their memories, spanning from 1970 to the present.
Then Paramount said, you're not going to use a real horse's head. I said, well, how can you do it? Make one out of plaster. So as the date approached, they sent a horse's head from Hollywood. That was all dusty and old.
Mr. Ed.
Mr. Ed, they sent there.
A horse is a horse.
It ought to be shot on one side and so on.
The pet lovers, when they protested that, is we ordered it from the same source where to get the pet food.
We wanted a horse that matched the real horse.
Right.
And then we had to put a certain diamond pattern on the head.
You know, I just remember about that thing is that we did that. We kept this head on ice for a while, obviously, because I remember the day we shot the scene. It was extremely hot out, and John Marley stayed in bed with this horse's head in this heat. It was a little tacky, actually, for.
The funny thing about the horse's head is that when I read the book, I read it wrong. I thought that the horse was in the bed with him, and he looked at the sheets, and but now as I read it, that's the way it is in the movie.
Yeah, right.
In reality, in the book, the horse was there. The horse's head was there right in front when he got up. He looked at it, and that little misreading led...
It wasn't in the bed?
No, it led me to suggest, I said, Bertie, what if, he discovers it...
He wakes up, he feels wet, finally, and then there it is.
But that wasn't the way the book was, but I misread it that way.
I like that worked good when you played, that you hadn't been let up for like 20 years. You've had this responsibility and the old.
The thing that's different about Godfather 3 and Godfather 2 is that Michael is different. But in order to see how he's different, we got to get a few tastes of it. Because we need a little emotion. If we could put a little emotion, like in 3 places in the movie, that would be the thing. Because
just have the weight of the gravity. That's what does it. You know what I'm saying is that you've never, from the time you committed that first sin, you've never had the weight off of you. Okay, and you must have, you can't take it anymore. Okay. Just to be different.
It seems to me that whatever the film lay in a balance, and if I kicked it one side and kicked it to being more personal and more even soap opera or more emotional, that would be enough to kick it over, The audience has got to be like this during this thing, it's got to be, Jesus, this guy is cracking, this guy is, for the first time, I know he's really worried that he did the wrong thing. He's got a conscience. How can we put the intensity of that in this moment alone? You see, there's no one in the room except this corpse. So he can speak freely, and you almost could see him by the coffin being very emotional. And then he says, where did I go wrong, is what he's saying. Is it too late for me? Are my sins too great? Did I love too much or too little?
There's a point, you get a virtuous man and he commits an unvirtuous act. He's so horrified that he's committed that unvirtuous act that it becomes even more terrible in the sense that...
The only trouble is these are all intellectual ideas, and we're trying to get something really just emotional that the guy's speaking from his heart. He's a guy who's clearly getting ready for death, and he's very worried that it's like King Lear, he hasn't set things right.
My history with The Godfather was very much the history of someone in trouble. I found the first movie very tough to do and very tough to finally pull off. It's like fundamental in the story. If Michael really could talk to his father, let's say Michael went to heaven, and there he was greeted by Don Vito Corleone, and he says, Pop, I'm here. How did I do? And the father says, you forgot one thing. And he says, what? He said, whatever I did, I always listened to my heart. And Michael said, I did too. Let him stay in the mood. Let's go. Just like that, standing by the roll.
Goodbye, old friend. We won all our battles, didn't we? You and I.
Don Tomasino, we won all our battles, you and I. And to what purpose? My family still is in danger. You in your coffin, only 90, you could have lived a little longer. And I could be nearer to my dreams.
You could have lived longer. I could be closer to my dreams.
Like after Sonny died, kind of that weakness, being wounded. Because it's like pain to it.
It's so interesting. Francis just can give you a narrative. I mean, he can stand there all day and tell you what the characters are thinking. This is so unusual. There may be more Michael and Francis there are than me.
Tell me, Don Tomasino, why I so condemn myself. Why? What betrayed me? My heart, my mind.